What's going on, hustlers? Back at you guys with another video. Today we're back to the 1, 2, 3 camera setup. Let me know if you guys like this. I think it's really cool. You guys get to see my face and then actually see my screen, so I'm super happy about that. And my editor thinks it's really cool, and I think I can give you guys a unique perspective on stuff. But anyways, let's get straight into the video, and make sure if you find this video informative, you like, comment, and subscribe. So today we're going to be talking about how to make your first $1,000 in government contracting using Walmart.com. I'm going to be 100% transparent with you guys. It took me like probably 45 minutes to an hour to find this. I was doing some digging, and initially I wanted to do it, okay, make your first $1,000 in government contracting. And then I was like, okay, well, I want to show people how to do it using Home Depot. And then I found a bunch of stuff on Home Depot that was completely viable, but then I started thinking to myself, what if this stuff logistically is just not feasible for some people to do? And what I meant by that was I was looking at things like ladders, floodlighting, generators and stuff, and I was like, that's not gonna work if somebody like doesn't have a lot of space. So I was like, let me make this something that's as suitable for like an entry-level person that has no resources or experience and very limited space. So this is gonna be how to make your first $1,000. Now granted, I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you that you can do this with no money. You probably need to have some, well, for the example that I'm gonna show you, you do need to have some money. I am not a big fan of carrying debt for like personal reasons, but I'm totally cool with like you opening up a business credit card so that way you can buy material and then in turn make a profit. That's totally acceptable. Like, even if it has to be a secured credit card, my first credit card was a Discover credit card and it was secured, so I had to deposit $500, and then I think it was after like 3 to 6 months, then they gave me back my $500 and then increased my credit limit. So even if you have to do that, like, and you can't get the money, like, if you really care, like if it really matters to you, you'll find a way. But yeah, this video is going to be how to make your first $1,000 in government contracting using Walmart.com. Okay, so let's get into it. All right, so here's how it's going to work. All right, I open up Walmart.com, right, and I'm going to walk you through my thought process as I found this stuff. So I open up Walmart.com, and then I come here and I look at departments. So obviously, you guys know how I feel about medical supplies. I think it's super saturated. I tell you guys not to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I think everybody and their mother is trying to sell medical supplies because everybody and their mother knows a nurse or is a nurse and has access to medical supplies for the low. So ask yourself this: if it's that easy for you to get access to medical supplies, what the hell makes you think that like it's not that easy for other people to get access to medical supplies? Thus meaning the supply significantly outpaces the demand, resulting in DLA not wanting to buy it from you, or if they do, your margins are razor thin. But anyways, I digress. So we look here at departments, right? Clothing, shoes, and accessories. Wouldn't really trust buying that from Walmart. Babies and kids, again, not applicable. Local finds, skip that. Home, garden, and tools. Okay, now this is where, there's my trademark yawn. Now this is where it gets cool, right? So home, garden, and tools, this is what I believe is like a nice little place to actually find stuff that the government would buy. Would they buy groceries? No. Would they buy personal care? Maybe. Well, not maybe, they do. Would they buy auto or tires? They do, but I wouldn't buy it from Walmart, right? But like tools is a pretty straight up thing, right? So I just clicked home, garden, and tools. Oh, tools and home improvement. So tools and home improvement, and I see all this stuff. I'm like, okay, boxes, right? Whatever, duct tape. Now, I came down here and I was like, oh, air purifiers. Like, everybody needs air purifiers. You could also do cooling, which is like the fans and stuff, water filtration. The first thing that caught my eye was the air purifiers. The dehumidifiers could also work. Plumbing also could work. The government does buy faucets. Power tools. I tell people to sell power tools all the time, so I wanted to give you guys something new and unique. So I came here and I was like, okay, air purifiers, right? Like that has to be something. So then instead of me normally going to everyspec.com, which is like my drawing board or like the website that I like to use to look up the FSC code, which is the 4-number identifier for whatever product market I'm researching, I was just like, you know what? Just to save time, I'm going to use ChatGPT. So here you can see I was looking up a bunch of different things, and I was trying to pick something that would be super realistic and easy for somebody with no experience to do. So I looked up what is the FSC code for air conditioner. I looked up air purifiers. So now get this, follow me, right? So air purifiers, 7310 was the FSC code. So what I did was I came to the RFQ tab here, and then I clicked search by FSC code, which you can do, and then I put in 7310, right? So 7310 was the FSC code for air purifiers, but if you guys notice, most FSC codes are actually for entire product markets, thus meaning there's going to be more than one thing in relation to that FSC code. So it was air purifiers, and then also I saw microwave ovens. So then I was like, oh shit, that's got to be easy. Like, I could definitely find that on Walmart, right? I clicked on one, and I saw the cage code, and then I saw the part number, and I was like, okay, whatever. But then I come over here to the company name, and I was like, Panasonic Corp of North America. Panasonic, they make a whole bunch of readily available, easy to find things that I know vary in price that would be great for somebody looking to make their first $1,000. So then I was like, oh, you know what? I'm not even going to pursue the microwave thing anymore. I just copied and pasted the cage code, and then I went to the RFQ tab in Dibs, and then I just searched by cage code, and then I was just like, yo, let's just search by Panasonic. So then I searched by Panasonic, and then I saw this thing, and I was like, a laptop, a rugged laptop, like a Panasonic laptop, that's easy. So I was like, all right, I'm definitely going to go after that. But then I click on the hyperlink, which brings me here to the approved source page. I see Panasonic manufactures it. It's the same part number 3 different times. So I'm like, okay, all right, sick. Same part number 3 different times. It's got to be cash money, right? Take that, and then I conducted a search, and I put it into Google, but then I was like, holy shit, there's all these different, like, things that come up. So clearly it's on the internet, but I was just like, this is commercially available, commercially off the shelf item. It's commercially available, but how do I know which one to go with? So then I went back to my boy ChatGPT, and this is where you got to stay with me. Like, I'm literally just talking to you guys through my thought process. So then I plugged in the SKU, or the full part number, whatever you want to call it, of the laptop. And ChatGPT told me, it said, it looks like yada, 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 Foxtrot Zulu -55 Echo Zulu -1 Charlie Victor Mike might be a product model number, potentially for a specific piece of equipment or machinery. However, I couldn't find an immediate reference to it in widely available databases. Could you clarify what this model pertains to or provide additional context? So at this point, I'm like, all right, I might be screwed. Like, there were so many options that showed up. Even ChatGPT didn't know what I was talking about. But then, oh, it's a Panasonic laptop that appears to be discontinued. I wanted to know if any other names this laptop could be known as. Now, this is the real duet. This is the real sauce, right? Because sometimes you're going to see, when you're dealing with commercially off-the-shelf items, that what DLA has listed as the part number is going to be like this long-winded thing. And then commercially, like when you walk into Walmart to buy it, it's going to have like a regular name that a 5th grader could understand, right? So I throw that in here, and then I was like, it's a Panasonic laptop. And then it said, given that it's discontinued, it may have also been known by various names or configurations. So Toughbook Foxtrot Zulu -55, and then it gives me all these other variations of the name. So then I'm like, oh, okay, you might also see different configurations identified by their specific parts, such as processors or storage options, i.e. the Intel i5 or the Intel i7 processor. So at this point, I'm like, okay, at least I know what I just looked up. At least I know that the Toughbook 55 is aligned with the name that I saw on the approved source page. So then I'm looking, and I'm just like, if this is discontinued, and then I pulled up the solicitation here as well. So here's the solicitation. I'm looking at it here, and I'm like, okay, this is the part number here, and I start thinking, I'm like, oh, well, how do I know if it's the i7 or the i5? Now, there's not really a way for me to know at this point. The only way that I would really know whether it's the i7 or the i5 is going to be derived from a conversation that I'm going to have with the contracting officer, or when they send me a request for traceability, I'm going to be like, by the way, this is the i5 version. Do you want the i7? I can get you the i7 if you want it, because it's also commercially available. We saw that. But anyways, I was like, okay, let's come back to this page. So then I'm looking, and I'm like, okay, if it's commercially available, more often than not, the stuff usually is available at Walmart. So I'm looking here. Now, you got to be very careful when you're dealing with these, because if you notice, some of these say pre-owned or refurbished. We need like the brand new one, right? So I see this, okay, Toughbook 55, Mach 1, Intel Core i5, boom, let's do it. I click on it, and then it brings me back to this page. So we're back to where we started. We're back to Walmart.com, right? So then I add it to my cart, right? So one is added to my cart. We come here. I had some other stuff in my cart that I got to get rid of for the purpose of this exercise. I had some tires. I was buying some tires for my car. So $26.10 is the price that we're getting it for on Walmart. Now, if we return back to the solicitation, we can see it was last sold for $3,090 in 2023, so that was 2 years ago. And if you guys ever watched my pricing video, check it out in the tutorial section of my channel. And by the way, if you want to work with us specifically and go over how to do this for more advanced items, click the link down below, book a call, speak with Sam. If you happen to catch me on a day where I'm not flying, if you booked a call on a day where I'm not flying, I'll also be on the call. But if not, back to the video. If you guys remember my pricing video where I talk about how quantity and price have an inverse relationship, as well as the increase in price year over year due to inflation as a general rule, or more specifically the PPI, which is published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, which gives us a direct quantitative price increase for every single NAICS code. You can use that to factor in, what the increase in price should be for each product market, and then you add that to the most recent procurement if it was a couple years ago, right? But let's just use this example, right? If it goes up 5% every year and it's been 2 years since it was last sold, that's a 10% increase. Now, granted, we also know that the less you buy of something, the more expensive it becomes. So we can see here in the procurement history that I don't think the government's ever bought 5. Yeah, they've bought 4, they bought 7, but in 2022 they bought 3 of them at $2,800. So if it's, let's say, 3 years later, 15% plus 27 is $424. I just did 3 years times 5%. That's the average. 3 to 5% is the average. You can check out the PPI if you want a more specific number for the increase of the price of your material. I interpret that in our bootcamp, and our next one is in May. So if you want to sign up for that, click the link down below. But if not, continue with the video. So it's $424 increase, right, per unit. Now, this video is titled How to Make $1,000 Doing Business with DLA. And the government wants 5 of these. So realistically, it's 424 times 5. So if we multiply that times 5, that gives us $2,120. That's going to be our total markup. Now, I don't know what the shipping is going to be. Let's just see, hypothetically, if I just continue to check out. Okay, so the estimated taxes, we could basically mark it up $424 on top of that $2,800, so it really put us at $3,200. Yeah, it's $2,850. So if we do 424 plus $2,850, that puts us at $3,274, and the cost of one laptop is $2,610. So it's actually a $600 profit margin, and then if you multiply that times 5, so it's 16 grand, and you're making about $3 grand in profit right there. 424 plus 2,850 minus 2,610 is 664 times 5. So you're making $3,320. That's your net profit margin. And then 3,320. So that's our net profit. Let's divide that by the gross amount of the contract. So if we did 2,850 plus 424 times 5, so 16,370 is the total value of the contract. And then if we divide it by 16,370, that gives us 20.28%. So it's a 20% markup, which I think is very, very good, especially if you're a beginner contract. So this video started out as how to make your first $1,000. It actually translated into how to make $3,000 using Walmart.com. And yeah, it's a 20% markup, which is really good. Anybody who knows anything about business, 20% margin is quite healthy. Whatever you got to do, go get a credit card, go borrow money, go do whatever you got to do. Show somebody this video, be like, yo, if you give me 20 racks, I swear to God, I'm gonna repay you, and give them $1,000. If you're gonna make 3 grand, give them $1,000. I just broke down the numbers for you right there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Pretty much just talked you through the entirety of my thought process. How if I did not have access to part space or anything like that, how would I go about making $1,000? So $3,000 net profit for a commercial off-the-shelf item. Pretty happy with it. This video is getting kind of long, but hope you guys are enjoying this format or the 3 kinds of angles. Let me know if you guys like that. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Not only am I looking forward to your success, I'm absolutely sure of it. Let's go print those dollars.